Welcome to the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan.
I'm James.
And I'm Callum.
And it's a little bit of it's something different this week.
Yeah, we're going to take it easy this week. I thought Zombieland was coming out, so we're going to review that, but it's not coming out until like this week, so we'll have to review it next week.
But we always have backup plans.
Yeah. Well, backup plan, I don't know if that's the right word, because this kind of just happened.
Yeah.
And Nathan's like, well, we have to talk about it. So we decided to talk about it on the show. And
well, look, there's always movie news to talk about, even if we didn't have this glorious content.
Yeah,
for our
we always
listeners.
find something to talk about.
Anyway, so this story starts a little while ago when I was playing with the idea of buying a projector.
Yeah.
And I was at our friend Chris's house, hanging out with him and Callum and Jake. And I saw a projector on Wish.com.
And Wish notoriously
it's a Chinese
dodgy,
grab bag website.
cheap, cheap like Chinese pirate copies of technology.
And as far as, taking a chance with a Chinese, probably sweatshop manufacturer.
Yeah.
I took it around. It was $167 for a labeled 4K, a 4K
quote-unquote
HDR
4K,
amazing projector.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'll take a risk and I'll buy it because you can't take money with you when you die.
Yeah.
Let's just see what it's like.
Yeah, and we always do movie nights in the garage at your guys' place.
Yeah.
And, we have the show, so I was like...
Yeah, and for our listeners at home, the garage is a big enough size where we could probably have a projector set up. And I'm like...
Yeah, the garage door, because you don't use the garage is our, man cave, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better word. And the whole garage door, you can put a screen on there.
Yeah, it doesn't open frequently, like once or twice a year at most. So we can probably have a setup there. So we wait a while. I get the projector.
Yeah.
A $167 Wish projector.
It's like a little black
box thing, and we're playing with it inside. And we're struggling with we're balancing it on books and DVDs and print CDs.
Projecting on the wall in the house.
Just to make sure it works.
Above the sofa underneath the air conditioner, trying to fit the picture in, putting print CDs and like Stephen King books stacked on top of each other so that it kind of sits at the right angle.
And we were quite impressed at the time.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it looked terrible. But at the time, the novelty of it, of having a really large projected
image,
movie, that's kind of where the excitement came from. We're hey, it's pretty good. And,
for $167. I remember telling people, I got a whole projector set up for under $300 because I spent an extra, $100 getting a stand and a tray and a projector screen.
Yeah.
That cost me under $100.
Yeah.
So, for a sub $300 system, it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And everyone was calling you crazy, but then you showed it and everyone's like, hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, the only problem was you could see lattice lines.
Yeah, they call it the screen door effect. I did some research into it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the screen door effect. It's, basically cheap projectors. The way it's something to do with the way they sort of project the image. It's sort of lattice lines. It's called the screen door effect, and it's basically like that with all cheap projectors.
Yeah. So that was these very faint, very faint streaks.
Funny enough, it pretty much entirely goes away when you watch animated.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
weird. When we were testing different movies out, we were testing
different
it's supposed to be 4K, so we tried a few 4K Blu-rays. We tried Planet Earth,
and it looked pretty good.
It looked not bad.
I think the difference is it supports the resolution technically, but it doesn't obviously display at that resolution.
True. Yeah.
It can play the media the same way an Xbox One S can play a 4K Blu-ray, even if you don't have a 4K Blu-ray TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's taking the 4K image, but it's not displaying the 4K image. Yeah,
we watched a couple of movies on it in the garage, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, we played a couple of games just to see how it worked with the video game. It looked all right.
It looked all right. So it's good as a backup, but I guess it sort of started a little bit of an itch.
Yeah, because then you messaged me a few days later. How long had you had the crappy one?
Not
a week?
Long.
Yeah,
a week at most.
Because you messaged me, and
I think I just messaged you a receipt.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Whoops."
Can we say how much it was?
Yeah.
So he sends me. You message me a photo of the receipt, and it's $1,500.
I did a thing.
ViewSonic 4K projector. I was like, I can't remember what I messaged you, but I was like, what the fuck? What did you do?
Yeah.
And you're like, I couldn't help it.
And
because it started with Callum was like, I want to look at a real projector. And he's like messaging, and he's like, oh, I like this Scorptech one. And he sent it to me, and I was just like, nah, this is good enough. Then I'm like looking at the page.
yeah.
And I'm
good
like,
reviews.
and I'm like looking at the reviews, and I'm like, I like this projector. It's got like 5-star reviews, all these different review, like proper technology
price
reviews.
point.
Yeah, so the model is the ViewSonic 727 4K.
Yeah.
And it's essentially the best in class for the price range.
Yeah.
You basically can't get better without spending like, $4,000 or whatever.
Yeah, so it got really good reviews, and I did something irresponsible and I bought it. I don't condone anyone going out and spending $1,500 on a projector if you don't need to, obviously. But as movie fans, self-proclaimed movie critics,
It's not like we weren't going to use it.
no, this is our ball. Like different people have different things.
And we're lucky we have the space to use it.
Exactly. Don't look at them if you don't have the space.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, listeners will find out later, but it's already changed our lives.
Oh my! We're going to go on a wild ride tonight.
Yeah.
So it arrives.
The shipping only took like a day.
Yeah, courier delivered.
Yeah,
Okay.
courier delivered. It basically was overnight shipping, which was nice. It's big boy,
Yeah,
a lot bigger.
Chunky,
It's about
chonkers boy.
at least triple the size of the other cheap projector.
Yeah. Well, the other one was just like a small.
Yeah.
I don't know what you compare it to, but
About the size of 2 Telstra boxes on top of each other.
like
Yeah.
like a chunky hard drive, like an old hard drive. And then the new one, but the new one's like a shoebox, bigger than a shoebox.
Yeah. I think I'll need to buy some more equipment because the tray's not quite big enough. So we're going to look at fixing the ceiling in the garage and mounting it.
Yeah, the stand you got for the cheap one.
That worked fine for the cheap one, but
the new one just fits on it. So we're lucky we can use that at the moment. But eventually we get it mounted on.
Eventually we're going to mount it on the ceiling, and then we can sort cable management, furniture, and all
and
that
the screen. The screen's like. It's a good size, but we can go bigger because of the garage door. You still have.
We can go probably to about 120 inches for the screen, but we can also. I want to get a better screen eventually because at the moment we have a cheap $30 semi-transparent screen, which is fine for our purposes now.
Yeah.
But we lose some quality in the blacks.
Yeah.
Because there's no say black thing at the back behind it. Otherwise,
Doesn't
it just
reflect
goes through
it.
to the garage door, and it's just like well. So
semi-transparent,
absorb it.
it
It
just
doesn't
kinda,
absorb it. Yeah, it
goes
just sort of
through.
goes through.
Yeah.
So we need to fix a couple of those issues. But for for $30 screen, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we tested it out with like 4K Blu-rays and stuff, then it was like, wow. Like, then it was like, can't believe we thought the other one looked good.
Yeah.
Like, it was like...
we were playing with it last night, just playing with some stuff, and, we increased the brightness and some contrast, and we could...
Yeah.
Like, we actually made a noticeable difference.
Yeah. Oh, it looked fantastic.
I think a projector is one of those things where we're not too experienced with them, but I think we're going to have to sort of... Each movie, you can change the settings a little bit for, and, like, you can tailor the projector's output to the strengths of the film, or the media you're playing.
True, yeah.
It's good, but it's not good for video games, this one, which is fine.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're not going to do that much gaming on it anyway.
No, for our purposes, it's a home theater. It's our own little mini cinema thing.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
But, we... James downloaded something very special.
Oh, so everyone knows who's listened to this show and the old show, Star Wars is the most important thing. But as we always talk about, it's not, the original versions aren't available and don't look like they're ever going to be released. And, I refuse to acknowledge the existence of the special editions. So there is, we've talked about Harmy before, I think.
Probably on the old show. I don't know about Tuesday Review.
I feel like we've probably mentioned
weeks
Harmy.
ago, yeah.
We probably mentioned Harmy.
So Harmy's a guy from Czech Republic, I believe, who restored the original unaltered theatrical versions of the original Star Wars movies, took out all the George Lucas CGI crap, and kind of remastered it to how it was meant to be. And for a long time, Harmy's despecialized versions, which is what he calls them,
the touchstone.
that's like what you have to get if you want to see the unaltered trilogy. But then there was another team of people called Team -1 who found
35mm film print.
Yeah, of the original, all 3 original movies, and lovingly, carefully restored every frame
by frame,
in native 4K.
Callum said each frame is like 100 megabytes or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to describe how it's real 4K Star Wars, original unaltered Star Wars.
Magic.
And even Harmy said, this is the way it's supposed to be seen. It's better than my despecialized versions, because my despecialized versions are picked, from different sources, the Blu-ray, the DVD, the old Laserdisc, and he's kind of cleaned them up and matched them together. He's like, whereas this is one single 35mm source of how the film's supposed to be seen, and like restored and remastered in 4K, the whole from start to finish. And so it's just
So you downloaded this a while ago.
Yeah, so
it's like 72 gigabytes.
It's like a 70 gig file of the original, original Star Wars in full 4K, proper 4K, and like we thought, well, we got the projector. It's like we might as well test it out. And so we did a few tests first, just looking at, and we were just like literal jaw drop.
We had to stop it, and we're like, you know what? No. Yeah. Let's not do any more testing. Let's book a night where we can actually watch it.
Do like full movie night, popcorn.
When towards the start of the movie, when Vader comes and it has a close up on his helmet, we were just like, look at the reflection.
I think we just stopped it and we're like, all right, we have to watch this fully. Like it's just, it's insane. Like I think I was saying to you guys, like I didn't think I would ever see Star Wars like this, because Disney's obviously doesn't care. They're not going to release the theatrical versions. They possibly can't, depending on what agreement they made with George Lucas, they possibly can never release the theatrical versions. But even if they did, it wouldn't look this good. Because these are fans who are trying to recreate how it's supposed to be seen in the cinema when it came out, And
it's something else, man. It looks
it's incredible.
Completely...
We should just say
it's like seeing it for the first time almost.
But it's only relatively recently that you can actually kind of like watch this type of stuff.
That's the thing.
Because, people have always been able to, connect their computer to a projector screen or a projector or whatever. But for us, of course, because we don't have that much money, we don't have that much equipment.
Yeah.
We haven't had to wait because we didn't know we could physically do it.
Yeah.
But we're in the position now where we have like an Xbox, which we can plug our USB in and connect all the
play the 4K,
and then project the 4K out onto the screen.
Yeah, 4K projectors haven't been that commercially sort of available for people with lesser means for that long, really.
I mean, I think I said to you the other night, like a few years ago, you couldn't even play this file unless it was on a computer.
And even then, like who even now, who just in their home has a 4K monitor?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get
computer monitor, But 4K TVs weren't even that popular a few years ago, So it's like just the perfect time to watch this, and we got the projector and we're like, well...
And the fact there are so many people who we know who haven't even seen the original Star Wars.
That's another thing we were talking about.
Can you imagine sitting someone down?
Yeah.
And of course, these days, science fiction's everywhere.
Yeah.
But imagine sitting someone down who'd never seen Star Wars and saying, watch this. And you have the premium 4K original experience.
It's like how you're supposed to see it, not whatever George Lucas thinks you should see. Like the original unaltered version,
and it
on the quote unquote big screen on our garage door.
It is something to behold.
Yeah.
And is that part of that experience as well? Is that we're seeing it blown up to 100 inches.
Yeah,
we're using we're at least using 95% of that projector screen space.
Yeah,
pretty much. And it's honestly something else.
Yeah.
Seeing it on the big screen. Because you don't lose, like we found out, you don't lose that much quality when you're blowing it up.
The detail is incredible.
Yeah,
like the close-ups, we kept just like looking at each other being like, oh my God.
And taking lots of photos.
Yeah,
Carrie Fisher's face.
Yeah.
And like a Han Solo, you can see the pores in their skin almost.
It's insane. I was pointing at one of the Imperial officers.
Tarkin?
Tarkin, I think what I said to you, Peter Cushing's got such a great face that it's just like always looks really cool. But there was just like a random Imperial officer talking to Darth Vader, and I just pointed at the screen. I'm like, you can see the detail in that guy's eyebrows.
Yeah,
like it's so insane how
it's completely different to anything we've seen from Star Wars.
And it's like
before.
Keep in mind that because I refuse to watch the special editions, and even being such a huge Star Wars fan, it's so sad that I don't own Star Wars on DVD or Blu-ray. How sad is that?
Yeah.
And so for this 4K release, for me to finally be able to watch Star Wars properly,
in fidelity,
in very high quality, on the big screen, quote unquote, it's like it's like watching. It's like a religious experience, like watching it for the first time with fresh eyes.
I likened it to the experience I had watching Interstellar.
Yeah,
I had the elated feeling.
Yeah,
and I've seen Star Wars before. It's nothing new to me.
I've seen it so many times, and yet it was like
it's movie magic.
Yeah.
And like when we tested some other things out as well, like and everything we put on this projector. It just looks like it could be at the cinema screen.
Yeah.
Like nothing seems to lose any detail.
Should note also that pictures of this experiment should be going on the socials.
Yeah, I'll upload them.
You can see what we're talking about. There'll be certain GIFs or videos or whatever.
Yeah. And like if you follow my personal Instagram at Channel Drifter, I've already posted a lot of stuff there. But yeah, on the Tuesday Review social, I'll put up all there so you can see what we're talking about. But yeah, just an incredible experience.
But we also watched, going back, rewinding it a little bit, we watched Goon on the shit projector.
Looked okay.
And that looked alright.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a middle ground where it's like, you know what, this $167 projector is a nice little backup option.
Yeah. When you project it up and it's that big, it's like, even with those weird lens lines, it's like, it's just...
You kind of forget about it.
Yeah, you kind of forget about it. And like the detail is still there. The brightness was a bit of a problem.
Yeah. But
the detail in the picture is still there. So it wasn't that bad.
It's nothing close to what we've got now.
But yeah, now with the new projector, it's just like, wow.
And the new... And also, one thing I didn't realize about going from the old projector to the new projector, the sort of the heat and the noise it makes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a piece of machinery.
It's loud, yeah.
I watched Roma for the first time on the projector today.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I can just hear it going...
Yeah. When you got the sound cranked up, it doesn't really bother. Yeah.
The other thing is, it gives you all these warnings about not looking into the projector while it's on because of ocular radiation. We're watching Star Wars, and we had the cat come in, and he's like, "I want to chill with the fellas," and it's new in the garage, and he's looking around, and he keeps wanting to look at the projector into the light. I'm like, don't do that, dude. Don't do that,
his little face.
And we're trying to cover his little face. He's like, I want to look. I'm like, no, if you're going to look, you have to go outside.
I said we should get him little cat goggles.
Yeah, so we'll have to get him some little cat goggles so he can look at it safely.
Yeah, no, it is bright.
It's good, though. It's really good.
Yeah.
And we had such an amazing time watching a beloved movie.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, even older movies on streaming services look incredible. We put on... Back to the Future 3.
Yeah.
That looked awesome.
Yeah. That looked really good.
Even Netflix generally just looks good.
We were just scrolling through Netflix and just like picking out stuff.
Looking stuff that was visually sort of different.
We put on Deathstalker and
it did look as bad as we thought it would.
Yeah. It kind of holds up.
Yeah, for a VHS rip or whatever that is. But see, when you're projecting it, even the worst quality, just the
added brightness,
experience, the experience of like the fact that it's on a big screen,
adds to it.
It's just like even though it looks like crap, it's still fun.
We got Hoyt's popcorn delivered.
I felt so bad.
Look, I gave the guy a tip because I'm a believer in tipping your Uber Eats delivery driver specifically. I know Alan will be listening to this and he'll disagree.
No, I mean, those guys don't drive Uber because they're making a lot of money and having a great time.
I saw a video today that was saying that in the real world, they don't really get all those tips anyway.
No.
So Uber takes ridiculous amounts of...
Tip your Uber Eats delivery driver, tip your Uber drivers, please.
Yeah.
So we got some popcorn delivered by
like
Uber
it was
Eats.
a proper... Like if we were going to watch Star Wars, we're going to have a proper movie.
Do it correctly.
Yeah. And it was delicious. And it was just a really good experience, a really good time. It was almost brought a tear to your eye. Watching...
Look, I don't want to make light of people who actually have like depression and actually have bad things going on in their life, but I'm like, I haven't been feeling that great lately. This movie made me fucking so happy. Just the happiest I've been in a long time. Like it's like being a child again. I don't know what.
You know what? It's like you said. It's the fact that it's been withheld for so long.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's. This wouldn't even be a thing if we just had the Blu-rays of the original versions years ago.
If Disney just said, "Oh, you want the originals? Here, $50. It's on 4K. Here you go."
But the fact that it's like this forbidden thing that's been withheld from us for decades.
You can't. So you basically you have to torrent this.
Yeah.
Like there's no easy way to say it.
It's like a 70 gig MKV file.
It's like if you want to experience this, you can't really get it legally. It's in a grey area where, according to Harmy, I'm pretty sure the rules were you have to own
If
the
you own it,
trilogy
yeah.
legitimately, and then you can download it. But
Which
there's a
look,
whole legal thing.
We own
there.
it legitimately on Blu-ray, so I'll download it if I damn well please.
Yeah.
and on DVD.
And on DVD.
And James has it on
you sa-
VHS.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got the original versions on VHS.
No, but
that's what I'm saying is like, for many years I could only watch the movies on VHS, and then Harmy had his despecialized edition, so I could watch them like
On a computer
on a USB,
Oh.
like on the TV, like 720p, maybe 1080p, and those were really good. But this is just a whole new level.
it is a whole new level, and I think we are in a privileged position now where it's going to take us a couple of years, but we'll outfit our sort of
we
home
have to
theater.
get it mounted.
We want to get everything mounted.
Get good seats.
Get good seating in there, cable
Speakers.
management,
Need
good
good
speakers.
sound system.
It might take a couple of years, but it's starting.
It's worth it.
early. Starting the steps towards.
Yeah, even when you guys just had this I call it small TV, but it's a big TV. Compared to
Now it's a small
compared to
TV,
the projection screen, it's small. But even you guys when you just had the normal TV, it's like I would still come over and we will watch movies because that's what we do anyway. But now it's like
It's
now
another
it's a
level
proper
now.
experience.
No, now it's somewhere where we can go and we can. This is all of our pretty much our main hobby. We love films
Yeah.
here. We wouldn't do this show if we didn't care deeply about films and all that kind of stuff. And so now it's on a completely another level for us to go in there and we can watch a movie or two the way movies are meant to be seen. We tested Dunkirk.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
And I don't think I've ever truly seen 4K until we saw Dunkirk.
I said it takes up the whole screen, and James is like, "That's because he films with IMAX."
Because it's IMAX, it's like it's full frame, so it's like just
obviously most movies are in 16:9. There's a bit of black boxes on the top and the bottom,
or like a 235, like kind of letterbox. But Dunkirk's just like. Poof, it blows up this whole screen.
And we put Dunkirk on just to test.
And the crispest looking 4K I've ever seen.
And we had to take a moment.
We were like making noises just before the movie started with the place.
We're looking at the splash screen and we're just like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, the menu. It was like, wow, that looks good.
Can't I just sit here and watch this for a while?
Oh man, it's incredible.
So I think, you know what? $1,500 well spent, to quote our boy Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. Worth every penny, bruh.
That's right. But it also breathes life into like the old dusty Blu-ray collection. Like movies you haven't seen in a while.
You guys were just pulling movies off your shelf and be like, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. And we were just going through Netflix and like, let's try this, let's try this. It's like, now you can like revisit old movies and see them in a
fresh
different
eyes almost.
It's I know we're sort of going around in circles, but it's very hard to describe how different it feels watching a movie on the bigger screen than on the TV.
It's like the cinema experience of theater, kind of like it's recreating that special thing. Which now because sound systems and TVs are so good, it's like people aren't as impressed with the movies anymore. And people can recreate the movies in their home, and that's why one of the reasons people aren't going out to the movies as much and stuff, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here, even though we like to go to the movies anyway. But it's like when you can recreate that in your garage, like it adds an extra layer of like special magic. It's like we have a movie theater in our garage kind of thing.
It's like wow, we can go to the movies and it's free.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's not free. It costs us $1,500, but it'll make us money back.
It's already
well, we were joking. We should charge people to come see original Star Wars. We were saying to
$10, come see Star Wars in 4K.
It's like tell the Uber driver come and see if he wants to see original Star Wars.
In 4K.
Like,
take a load off, man.
It's just it's hard to describe like how that's how you have to watch it. Like you can't watch the shitty Blu-ray or DVD of the CGI shit all over it. Like you have to watch it.
No, it's completely something out of this world.
So good. And also, there's been an announcement that I've been waiting for a very long time.
If you have to talk about what I think you are, everyone's been waiting for a long time.
The Lord of the Rings movies are finally getting released on 4K.
Upscaled? Upscaled from Blu-ray, going to be a terrible release.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a terrible release.
1080i. Oh no, not 1080. What's that? It's not quite 4K, but not quite Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, it's
full
like
HD or whatever.
Yeah, in the middle. Yeah, no, because they released the extended editions on Blu-ray. I bought them, but I never even opened them because I was like, no one has that no one has time to watch them all. And I was just like, well, I'll just wait for the 4K because I'm going to get it, anyway.
And do we know it's the extended edition's being remastered?
Yeah,
4K? Okay,
I'm pretty sure they've said that, yeah. And yeah, finally they've said that like mid-2020 it's supposed to come out. So
hopefully the home theater will be looking a bit better by then.
So we're going to definitely marathon those in the home theater.
That'll be good.
That's going to be incredible. And hopefully they're good, actually good releases.
Something that also we're looking forward to with the home theater is The Shining got released on 4K. Apparently that's an amazing 4K transfer.
Well, I think I talked about on the show a couple of weeks ago where I ordered it and it should come soon, and then we'll watch it before Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, that'll
and
be
then
good.
we'll talk about it on that review.
Because apparently watching that on like a good projector is an experience.
That's going to be good. Can't wait.
Yeah. So lots of things to look forward to with this new projector.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I wasted my money.
No.
Even the original Wish projector, I didn't waste my money
Well,
because we wouldn't have got where we are now if we
Exactly.
didn't take that risk.
We'd still be watching blown up Star Wars on the $167 projector.
Oh, look,
just not in 4K.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been the same thing, but
we wouldn't have all had a moment.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool.
we wouldn't have got popcorn because it wasn't that special.
yeah.
But like it's still, it's just the experience of it. Like it adds another dimension.
We can't really describe in words the kind of how special it was. I feel like it meant a lot to all of us just to watch it and see the grit on C-3PO and like just everything, the fine detail that you just don't really.
Yeah.
We've never seen before.
I mean, and on top of that, Star Wars is such a great movie that you can watch, like all great movies, you can rewatch it a million times and you always find something new and you always notice something else, and it's just like, so it still has that magic to it after all these years.
So
Especially in 4K.
So Star Wars 4K review, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
5 dead Jawas out of 5 dead Jawas.
Moving on.
Yeah. Well, you guys went to PAX this year.
We did go to PAX.
PAX is a like video game.
Yeah, so it's the Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah.
Hosted by the people who create the Penny Arcade comic strip, which is primarily about video games.
Yeah.
And it's is it the largest consumer...
Yes.
When I say PAX, I'm talking about PAX as a whole, not just the Australian branch. But it's the largest consumer video game expo in the world.
It's like Comic-Con for video games.
Exactly.
To put it simply.
But except that, like, there's, how we have that unofficial Aussie Comic-Con or whatever.
OzCon, yeah.
It's like, this isn't like that. This is an official PAX they just bring to Australia.
There's, PAX around the world and it actually comes to Australia.
all the big companies come here. Like it's completely legit. It's
Blizzard.
as well, that might be for an unrelated issue regarding the Free State of Hong Kong. But,
fuck the Chinese government.
Yes, fuck the Chinese government. As I was saying, so for a bit of context for people who don't know what PAX is, it came to Melbourne, quite nearly a decade ago now.
It's been happening for a while.
2013, 2014?
So quite a while ago. And it started at the Melbourne Showgrounds, and it was going to be like a 3-year trial, and then they might move it to another city like Sydney or Brisbane or somewhere like that. It stayed in Melbourne, thankfully, because, they make a boatload of money. And at this stage, Sydney had the EB Games Expo. So it's well, why are they going to be competing with each other? What's the point? So they kept it in Melbourne because, as the Melbourne government is wont to do, thankfully, our government is... we'll say amenable to supporting these kinds of events by the way of grants and all that kind of stuff. They've kept it in Melbourne for pretty much every single year it's been in Australia.
Yep.
And it's very much a tradition now.
Have you guys been every year?
Every year bar one.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I still have yet to go. Next year, I'm planning on coming with you guys.
And it is a very good time. There's a lot of people. There is a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
They sell out every year.
Yeah.
That's why they keep coming back every year, because they sell out every single year.
Yeah.
And there's video games, merch, comic books, tabletop games, classic games, pinball machines,
developer panels, Q&As.
Q&As, all sorts of concerts. All sorts of stuff's going on. They have a movie night. They always have a video game movie night.
Yeah.
This year it was Mario Brothers.
Yes.
I think last year it was something like Tomb Raider. With,
Okay.
What's her face?
The new one or the...
No, the older one.
Oh,
with
okay.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. I like the older one better than the new one.
So
we won't talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. There's a lot of people, so it's a bit claustrophobic, and we're getting a bit older, so we have to take our time a little bit. We're not running everywhere. I don't care as much anymore about lining up for 3 hours to see a game that's coming out next month. That
you're going to get anyway.
Yeah, it's like I'll prioritize my time.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a very good time. We played some Call of Cthulhu, the tabletop game.
Well, Callum got a set.
I bought the books. Hopefully, we'll be doing a podcast of those eventually.
It's actually a really fun game.
Yeah,
it's like D&D. For people who don't know, it's like It's like a tabletop game, like
D&D focuses on combat and action.
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu is more about story and investigation. So instead of fighting monsters all the time, which you do, but it's more about finding clues, piecing together the clues, exploring.
Lovecraftian, cosmic horror.
Madness. It's about intergalactic madness.
Yeah, and you can go mad.
I think for our group and like our friends, sort of Call of Cthulhu aligns more with how we like to play tabletop than say Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
D&D has its place.
Yeah.
But as a group, maybe we're all just too ADD to be wanting to beat dungeons for half.
You want to touch and explore every little part of the room instead of going on grand quests.
I feel like, we're not the sort of 30-level dungeon type party.
Yeah.
We're more of a let's investigate, let's solve a mystery.
Yeah.
Do some like role-playing and story stuff.
Taste
some
the goo on the
some
floor.
unknowable horrors. Yeah. No, overall, we had a good time. We played some video games. Quality control is kind of an issue with the indie games. I feel.
Well, we were talking about it the other night, where it's like, on one hand, it's a good thing that anyone can sort of go and get a booth or whatever, and have a place to test and get a exhibit and get awareness for their game.
And they do preference developers from Melbourne, which is nice.
Yeah, I feel like the Melbourne video game industry is getting a lot bigger and a lot more support.
Roughly half of all indie exhibitors games were made in Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah, there was like some that were like made in Australia, but like at least half of them were made in Melbourne. And that's just like, we're just lucky that we have a local government here that is going to, in Victoria, that will support the local games industry.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah,
Untitled Goose Game.
That's a big hit.
Look, making waves worldwide. Hong Kong.
Untitled Goose Game was supported. Hong Kong. Untitled Goose Game was supported by the Victorian government and Screen Victoria.
Yeah.
And, that game is now one of the biggest Switch game in the
around
world.
the world.
I'm pretty sure it outsold one of the new
outsold
Nintendo games.
It outsold Link's Adventure.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and that's a truly indie game. Maybe like 4 dudes above in a house above in an apartment above a shop.
Game, yeah.
And that was at PAX the other year, I think.
It's there's a lot of hype around that for a while.
But so all these games you get to play them, and it's a little taste of what the future's holding for the Australian games industry.
We talked about it on another episode recently as well. It's like you get to actually play the game, then talk to the developers one on
Sometimes
one,
you can buy the game cheaper.
Myself and Alan were talking to one of the developers of a game made in Melbourne called Heist, and they operate in the city, their game company. And we were even talking to this gentleman about possibly arranging an interview on Sunrise Arcade.
Oh, that would be good.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And we paid the gentleman $20 in cash for a Steam code.
Yeah.
Because we'd rather give him $20 in cash, but he doesn't have to give to the tax man.
Yeah.
Not that we're advocating avoiding tax.
He doesn't have to give anything to Steam or Epic Store or whatever. Yeah.
It's like I just like the fact that I'm putting $20 in this guy's pocket, and he's going to use that in his real life.
Yeah, and he can keep making games
instead of having to give a cut to this company or that company.
Yeah. Cut out the middleman. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So me and Alan would rather give this guy cash, and then that we know we're directly supporting him, which is a good feeling.
According to Alex, one of the people we know, who's an enforcer at PAX.
Yeah.
He was saying there was an indie developer who was giving codes, but not for cash. You had to barter.
There's always a couple of developers like that.
Yeah.
Where it's good marketing.
Yeah.
They'll, instead of selling their game for money to people, they'll be like, we'll trade something for it.
Yeah.
And they take anything. Alex was telling me the other year he traded a ham sandwich for a game.
That's hilarious.
And the guy was like, you know what? I'll take that fucking ham sandwich because I'm hungry. And like, you suck at the booth.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this is my lunch, man. You take a game. I'm going to eat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's funny.
It's a good atmosphere, right?
It's a good atmosphere. Like, there's a lot of people.
A lot of point-and-click games this year for like people like me who really enjoy that genre.
Yeah, I feel like that genre made a big comeback a few years ago.
There's a forum on the internet called NeoGAF, one of the largest sort of insider forums in the game industry, and there's a long-running thread that says point-and-click adventure games, the liveliest dead genre there ever was, because it refuses to die.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
It's like it's never going to be.
It never went away, really.
It's never going to be as popular as it was back in the day. But it's never going to die.
Yeah, it's now with the whole like nostalgia, like pixel art kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they work well on Switch too. So it's like the Switch helped that, like handheld, you can touch it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's good.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of body odor. People aren't always as mindful of their hygiene as they should be.
There's a lot of interesting smells at PAX.
Yeah. You always go in there feeling a little bit better about yourself. And that's mean, but
any big convention space is always going to be.
The food is a bit rubbish.
But
that's convention.
It's convention space. Yeah.
Although there were food trucks in the convention center, and they were doing fresh hot donuts.
That's
which
cool.
Were amazing.
Yeah.
No, overall it's a good time, and I encourage people to go and check it out.
Yeah.
Talk to people, buy some games, play some games.
Get some swag. Like, see, I always like going like to these things to get just swag, like exclusive stuff that you can't get in other places.
Like the Call of Cthulhu books, for example.
Yeah, Callum got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so Call of Cthulhu is popular everywhere.
Yeah.
But you can't just walk into any old like nerd shop, old nerdy shop, and purchase it. Like we were in the city once, and we went into what was that place where you used to buy Magic the Gathering cards?
Dungeon Crawl? No.
Dungeon Magic. Anyway, I walked into that store and I'm like, hey, do you have the Call of Cthulhu books? No.
Yeah.
We only have the basic D&D books, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that everywhere because, let's face it, Call of Cthulhu is probably not the most commercially successful game in Australia. And also D&D is like the big behemoth that squashes all the other competition.
That's the one everyone knows, yeah.
Yeah. So they had a whole booth of just Call of Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah.
Like the books, all the different supplementary materials, and like other unrelated stuff. But I was like, I bought it all. Not all of it, but...
You're like, screw it. Might as well just get it all now.
Yeah, I want it. Yeah. It's here. It looks good.
Yeah.
Same deal with like the King's Comics was there, and they sell kind of like rarer stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some art books.
Yeah, I did. Art of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
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 No, what else did we do? We saw the Jackbox panel.
Okay.
Which was, for people who don't know, Jackbox is like a party game where you connect to a lobby with your phone, and different games, but most of it revolves around you'll get sent like an image, or like you'll have to draw something, or you'll have to write a joke on your phone, and then people have to vote for the funniest one. And like, it's just a fun little party game.
Pick who they think did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's like different versions every year,
Yeah, we pretty much go every year.
Yeah, like one of our traditions is going to the Jackbox panel at PAX every year.
Yeah.
We always line up early, we get great seats, and you get to see the game being played before it's released, which is really cool, and you get to join in as an audience member. So we connect in the lobby on our phones, and we can vote for whichever one we think is funniest, and so we directly affect the outcome of the game.
I should say, though, it's only good if you're smart and you charge your phones before you go to PAX.
Yeah, Callum and Jake... So on the...
Why would you not charge your phone if you're going to it all day?
So my phone was fine.
Yeah.
Jake's wasn't.
This is on Friday.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, well, my phone can charge other people's phones. This is brilliant. So what happened was Jake ended up with 12% battery and I ended up with 30.
Yeah, Callum started like 54 and Jake was on 1%.
But you knew you were going to be all day.
Myself and Christian, being the iPhone users we are, had like 80% battery at the end of the day, and we're like, ha ha.
I always charge my phone every time I leave the house. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be able to charge it.
Yeah, no. It was a good time. What else did we do? We got some swag.
Yeah.
We got some swag for you as well.
Yeah, I got some Star Wars pins I got there on my bag.
We got some pins. Pins and badges are really easy to find. We saw Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
Which is coming out soon. We got some sort of Polaroids, which are really cool from swag.
Yeah.
They're actually really neat.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Usually the swag isn't that good.
Yeah, they're better this year.
They were good quality sort of, fake little Polaroids with like images from the game or whatever.
Yeah.
The controllers for that game are a little off. It's I think I described it to you last night. It's like tank controls.
I think they're trying to mimic the original game or something.
Yeah, which I'm not too hot on that.
Yeah. Hopefully you can disable it or something.
Hopefully you can change it in the menu.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's not out yet, so we don't know if that's like solid or not. But that looks really good. The graphics and are amazing. Story score looks really good.
Yeah.
Some other games we played, but none of them blew me away really in the indie booth.
Yeah.
A couple of games. There was one game called Necro Barista that's been at PAX like 3 years running, and I'm just like, is this game ever going to come? It looks really good, but is it ever going to come out?
That's the thing with indie games; it takes forever to make them
Yeah.
because they're like small teams, no money.
And there's always those games that they look really polished, and then like, oh, is this out yet? It's like, oh no, it might be able to late 2020. I'm like, late 2020?
Yeah,
Like, why? Like, I feel like
It's
PAX gives you blue balls a little bit.
yeah.
Because, like, you'll see all these really cool things. It's like, oh, it's not going to be out for at least another 16 months. And you're like, oh, please.
Yeah, and then you forget about it by the
Yeah.
time it comes out, and it comes out, and you're like,
like-
the ship sailed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've moved on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and so, like, I feel like if you're at PAX and you're an exhibitor, like, it's good to get, you know, some sort of some feedback. And
Yeah, but then you've got something like Untitled Goose Game, which, like, has been hyped for a long time, and that wouldn't have happened if they didn't have show the
That's
game
true.
earlier, you know?
Yeah.
I just feel like for some of these developers, it's like, if you're that long away, just don't even come to PAX.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't take up an entire booth
Yeah.
just to be like,
'Cause
oh,
I'm-
yeah, we
yeah.
don't know when it's going to be out. It could be years.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm sure there are some people who have a good game who can't exhibit because there's no more booths available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, there should be a section of, like, already or newly released games, and, like, a section for games released
Yeah.
in the next 12 months,
I guess-
and then, like, ETA unknown. Like, we
That's
saw
a-
some games that have no business exhibiting there.
Yeah.
Games of a quality that were so bad.
That's
they
what we're
should
saying.
have-
Like, there has to be quality
Like,
control.
I know things are subjective.
No, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say, though. It's like, I also feel like you have to understand that no single person is the arbiter of good taste.
Yeah.
So just because a game, you might play a game that's, you're like, oh, that's disgusting. That's like, you know.
Yeah, but someone might think it's great.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Look, that's true, but
it's
some
like-
of them just don't meet the quality.
It's like I was saying earlier, where it's like the quality control. On one hand, it's good that anyone can go and show their stuff, but on the other hand, if anyone can, then you get a lot of crap stuff that
Yeah. No,
probably
but
shouldn't be there, or
overall, though,
it's taking up room from someone else.
it
you
is
know?
a really good experience, and I encourage everyone to visit PAX at least once if you live in Melbourne.
You know what they should
Yeah.
do? They should have like a little, like a section of terminals that you can go to, like computer terminals. And like you can have a whole bunch of indie games which were submitted, but they don't have the room on the expo hall.
That's interesting.
There was a publisher last year that did it, and I can't remember the publisher's name. I'll look it up. They debuted a game called Neocab.
Yeah.
But me
Oh,
and
yeah.
Alan had to wait for this game. Yeah, we sat down and took a load off while we waited. But then you went to a computer, like Callum was just saying, and they had like 5 games on display, and you got to choose which game you wanted to play.
Okay.
So it's like that's a kind of a good way to minimize boot space.
Yeah.
They were publisher there. They weren't the developers, but yeah, we got to choose which one we wanted to play, and we were like a couple of the only people that chose Neocab, which ended up being really yeah.
I thought like maybe I'm just misremembering, but I think I've heard of that game before. So
I've probably talked about it before.
Maybe,
me and
yeah.
Alan really liked it.
yeah, is it coming out soon? I mean,
It's out now.
oh, it came
Yeah.
out. Okay.
I bought it on Nintendo Switch and I played it and I hit a bug, so I'm stuck. I'm gonna finish it when it gets update released, but the Steam version is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so Alan played it through on Steam. It only took him like 6 hours.
Yeah, most games are short indie games, but you guys saw the Marvel Avengers game?
No,
I saw the line.
Like it was there though, is what I mean.
Yeah, same with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which
Yeah.
is a huge surprise because
Yeah.
until now that game's only been available at like Tokyo Game Show, E3, places
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that they took it to Melbourne, that's huge.
Mm.
the publisher was Fellow Traveller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For
Uh,
Neocab.
Yeah, for Neocab.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had all these big games showing, but as I said
Yeah.
before, I'm not interested in lining up for 4 hours.
But that's the thing.
to
It's
see-
like most of these games you're gonna buy anyway, so there's no point in waiting in line
already
just
sold.
to test it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got mine on pre-order. You know, like
yeah. I mean, I did see they released the Miss Marvel footage for the new Avengers game. Looks pretty cool, and also we mentioned Luigi's Mansion 3, which is coming out
end of the month,
end of the
Halloween.
month. Yeah, Medieval comes out end of the month as well.
people
Yeah.
are lining up to play Medieval with it's the same demo that you can
Demo
download.
you can
at home.
download it.
That's one thing I don't understand is people who will line up for anything.
Yeah,
So they had
that's
like
the thing. Is you don't want to spend your whole day waiting in line.
last year they had Diablo 3 was released coming out on the Switch.
Yeah.
There's people lining up for like half an hour to play Diablo on the Switch. I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
it's been out for like 4 years at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, you can play it on anywhere
But
else.
yeah, Jake says that the problem is there's like a whole bunch of society
Mm.
who will only play a game if it's released on a Nintendo console. So yeah, he says it's a legit thing. Like people who like Overwatch is like super popular at PAX this year,
Yeah.
because it's coming out on the Switch.
Oh man!
So there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
people who's like, finally I can play Overwatch.
Jake and myself were watching people play Overwatch on the Switch, and it was like they never played a first-person shooter before.
Yeah.
You know the sort of mechanics, like
Well,
how
Nintendos aren't known for their
No,
first-person
yeah.
shooters.
it was like people like looking at walls and like looking down, putting something on the floor, looking back up. And it's like, this is a fast-paced game. Move your ass, man. You're gonna get shot.
Classic.
No, it was good.
Yeah. The only thing is because Death Stranding comes out early November, things like Medieval and Luigi's Mansion, which come out the end of October, so I don't have time to play them because a week later Death Stranding comes out, so I have to put off playing those games. Doom Eternal was supposed to come out at the end of November. I was like, I don't know if I have time if I'm playing Death Stranding, and then I have to replay Last of Us before Last of Us 2
Right.
comes out
I'm
in
sure
Feb. But
it's a
then
big 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doom Eternal got pushed back to March 2020. But then Cyberpunk comes out April 2020. So I'm like, maybe I can finish it in a month. And I'm just like, there's too many games.
I'm sure the developers of people who work at companies who aren't from Hideo Kojima Productions or CD Projekt Red are also pretty upset.
Yeah.
Can you imagine releasing your game in November only to find out that's when Death Stranding comes out? You're like, oh no.
Oh, God.
It's like releasing
Yeah.
your small indie movie. Oh, not indie. It's
Yeah.
like releasing a medium budget movie
Yeah.
when the new Star Wars is coming out.
Exactly. Yeah. You try to avoid move it. Yeah. But like, it's just, there's too many games I really want to play. And it's been
big 6
It's been a
months.
big month. Yeah. Been a big few months and be a lot to digest.
Cyberpunk was actually present at PAX this year, but
Yeah.
it was like a 2-hour line to sit in a lounge and watch someone play the game. Not
Yeah.
you. Like
But it wasn't blocked off. You could stand in
Yeah.
the walkway
The
without lining up and still watch the footage.
The bonus is if you did actually line up all the way, they gave you a free T-shirt.
Oh, that's probably why people lined up.
Still 2
But
hours
also,
though.
also like we said, people just want to be there first and get in line, and
Yeah, well-
like they don't actually.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the exhibitors at PAX, and he was saying that because he was within line of sight to the Final Fantasy VII Remake booth,
Yeah.
and he was saying as soon as the doors open, people literally sprint full speed
Yeah,
to get to the Final Fantasy VII booth
Yeah.
before anyone else. And it's a gameplay. It's like, I think it's the same one that people were playing at Tokyo Game Show. It goes for about 20
So
minutes.
people have already seen it online.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I
It's just-
get it.
I
Don't
think-
trust me. I
yeah.
understand.
I think
But
people want to be like first at everything and want to be.
it's like Alm said, they also want to be able to go onto their YouTube channel and say, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I played it. Here's my thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Like
We can talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
to
also,
be
we also
fair,
know
like,
we're old men.
Yeah, but to be fair, you guys didn't go to see Death Stranding
no.
or Cyberpunk
Yeah, yeah.
or Final Fantasy VII because you know you're going to get those games
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
and they're coming out soon anyway. So when does Final Fantasy VII come out?
March
3rd of
2020.
March.
Oh my god!
3rd of
See,
the 3rd.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game before.
I
and
think you'd like this
Yeah,
one.
Callum's like,
Yeah.
this is the
Well, even 15, like
best
the last one, it's like, because they do their JRPGs
Yeah.
on like the Switch and like more handheld ones, but
Yeah.
their main entries are action games now. They
Yeah.
have more in common with The Witcher than they do with the
the
older ones.
Yeah,
No, so crowds are an issue. I'm not saying we did the right thing,
skip line.
but we cut the lines pretty much every day.
There's a special circle of hell reserved for line cuts.
And look, as people of, we'll say, English descent, it's anathema.
yeah, you had to really.
But I had to crush a bit inside my soul
Yeah.
that says I like an orderly queue.
Yeah,
But we couldn't do it, man. When there's probably a couple of thousand people lining up, and you have to go to the back when you get there, you're just
Yeah.
like, oh. So we waited till people weren't looking, and then we just
Join the seamless flow.
joined the
stealth-
seamless
you-
way.
you
Untitled
stealth-
Goose.
Yeah, exactly, like a stealth game. You were
Yeah.
being
The Saturday was very much like a stealth game. The first day was like there was just no one, there were no enforcers around, so we kind of just walked in because
Yeah.
who gives a shit.
Yeah.
But the second day there were exhibitor staff and
convention
enforcers,
staff.
convention staff, sorry, and enforcers actually policing the queue.
yeah.
So we were standing there for ages because we didn't have an opening, and then Callum saw an opening and he smelled blood in the water. We struck. There was an enforcer turned around and was walking the other way with her back to us.
Yeah.
and were just out of range of the convention staff, and we just joined the queue. And we felt like ninjas.
Yeah.
Just melt into the queue.
Yeah. Overall, it's a good time. I encourage people to do it if they can. It's a good experience.
Next year, I'll have to come with you guys, and we'll...
Hopefully one day you might be exhibitors, exhibiting there.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff. I'm not a video game. Don't get excited.
Yeah.
We're not that smart.
Yeah. We got some pen and paper stuff in the works. So.
But yeah, we'll hopefully...
Worst case scenario, get a media pass because, we are the media.
We're legit. We're on the we're technically on the radio, not really, kind of, sort of.
Look, technically it goes to broadcast, all right?
Yeah. there's some loopholes we figured out, but
moving on.
Should we take a break
to
get the show off, and then we'll come back with the rest of the show?
Sounds good.
All right, we're back, and what we're going to talk about next?
Kevin Smith and Clerks 3.
Clerks 3, yeah.
So,
have we talked about Reboot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have. So Clerks, before we get to Clerks 3, Kevin Smith, very just recently in the last day or so, finally, he and Jason Mewes finally got their hands on
the star on the Hollywood...
On the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Outside the Chinese theatre.
Yeah.
And it was, I would say, quite emotional. If you watch the YouTube footage, he took, he's a man that cries, it's been known. And he was crying. He put his shades on so nobody saw him crying when he was doing his speech. And there was
just for context as well, Kevin wasn't born into like wealth and stuff. So when he was a young man, he used to watch Hollywood movies and he'd be like, "Isn't that incredible?"
Yeah.
So part of the emotion for him comes from the fact that he was born and raised in New Jersey, and to him, he just wanted to be a filmmaker. Whether he was successful or not.
Well, the speech he gave before the induction ceremony, the speech he gave after his daughter Harley Quinn and Ben Affleck gave a speech. The speech that Kevin gave after that was that he would always go. His family was, not particularly rich, but they always saved enough money throughout the year to go on a small holiday. And one year, he and his dad, their family went on a holiday, but he and his dad went to. Is it Zhang's Chinese Theatre? What's it? The actual name of it?
Man's Chinese Theatre.
Yeah, and the Chinese Theatre, and they looked at the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. And
his dad said to him, Kevin, you could be here one day. And that sort of imprinted a seed in Kevin's head. He can do anything. His dad believed in him, blah, all that sort of cheesy stuff that a dad says to their kid to be nice. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. And so the fact that Kevin was there with his whole family and he had his dad's ashes with him, and it was all very sort of touching. And he was saying about how it's like, like 30 years ago, 35 years ago, he was here with his dad dreaming.
Yeah.
And now he's here for real, having made an actual impact on the field that he loves so much. And that's just really cool.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about him a lot, I think, on the show. Like, we're big fans. And just over the last few years with his heart attack and stuff, he's had like a new
lease on life.
Yeah. And so he's kind of now a lot more sort of excited about movies and movie making.
There was a funny anecdote about that I read recently where he was saying when he was, dying on the table, he's like, I can't let my last movie be Yoga Hoses.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, I'm glad he realized that.
Yeah.
Because damn.
So it's like now he's back full pedal to the metal type,
he's like not screwing around anymore.
Yeah. Well, he's got stories he hasn't finished telling, It's like the Stephen King thing. Like, I'm pretty sure the reason Stephen King's still alive is because he's like, every day he gets up and he writes.
That's why he finished Dark Tower, right? Because he got hit by a car?
I think so.
So he was like, shit, I better finish this because it's like 7 books or whatever. Yeah, and it's just like, it's like, I better finish this because I don't want to die and like not finish it. And then didn't he write himself into the
he did.
universe?
It sounds weird, but he pulls it off. It's fine.
It works.
I think Roland has to stop him getting hit by the car.
Yeah, but I guess this ties into the Kevin Smith thing where it's like, because he had the heart attack, because I guess we should go rewind a few years. Clerks was Kevin Smith's first film. That's what made him a name. It's like a super low budget,
Lightning
black and
in a
white.
bottle. Yeah,
black and white, like...
really sharp, witty comedy.
Yeah, like just indie in every sense of the word.
Also relevant to people who work in grocery stores or like, little
it's like
shops.
retail life, the movie. And that made a big splash for such a small
Yeah, it's all set in one place.
Yeah, shoestring budget movie. And then he made lots of other movies, Mallrats and Chasing Amy, and then like 10 years later he made Clerks 2.
I don't know, but you've left out Dogma.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. He made all these other movies, then he made Clerks 2 after all those years as like a follow up, which is a more modern movie. Then like he made a few more movies, which maybe depending on who you ask, decreasingly kind of diminishing returns. Got kind of
Cop Out was pretty good.
No, it wasn't. It was bad. But like like it wasn't. He didn't have that spark, that viewer skew 90s Kevin Smith spark anymore.
Yeah.
But he had been trying to get Mallrats 2 made with no luck. He had been trying to get Clerks 3 made for many years after Clerks 2. No luck either. At one point he said Clerks 2 was the best thing he ever wrote, but apparently it was like super depressing.
That Clerks 3.
Yeah, Clerks 3, yeah.
Script,
Yeah, like the script for that was the best thing he ever wrote, but it was like depressing, and no one wanted to make it. And Jeff Anderson, who plays the character Randall in the Clerks movies, I think he retired, and like he wasn't interested in returning. And so there were all these things where it's like, it's just not going to happen. And then he had the heart attack, and he was kind of had a new lease on life and had a new lust and zest for kind of movie making. And he's like, screw this, I'm going to make Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is kind of a viewer skew, like a sequel reboot to
all
Strikes
of his
Back,
movies.
but all his movies, like a viewer skew universe kind of celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we mentioned this on the show before, but his heart attack ended up leading him to build bridges with people he'd fallen out.
Yeah, it's funny, right? He made a movie called Zack and Miri Make a Porno with Seth Rogen, and so he was friends with Seth Rogen and all that, but he stopped talking to a whole bunch of people, I guess.
Yeah,
and he was really touched by people he hasn't worked with in years, being like, "Oh my God, Kevin, are you okay?"
Yeah,
and so Kevin was like, he's really happy to know that when he dies, people aren't going to be hating on him. It's like, oh, that terrible director's dead. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, at least people are going to be like, oh, let's celebrate Kevin's works.
Yeah.
Maybe Mallrats wasn't so bad.
So now we're in a good position where we're getting Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and he's also writing Clerks 3 in a more positive...
So that's the thing is like, because Kevin Smith's also the kind of director who's just like, I'm doing this movie, I'm doing this movie, I'm doing this TV show, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah. And just none of it ever comes out because he's always, making stuff, creatively, but it doesn't ever get released, he can't make everything. So it's like you take it with a grain of salt.
Like you do, but now he's so invested in filmmaking that at least we're going to be getting stuff consistently.
But now with Reboot coming out, and there's like a buzz around that, and like, his new lease on life, and it's like, and Jeff Anderson is returning for Clerks 3 apparently.
They're on good terms again. Like actual, because they got together and like they had like a session where they were signing stuff.
Yeah.
I suppose after Kevin died, he was like, "Hey, you listen to me."
I need to finish.
I almost died.
We need to make this fucking movie before
you owe me. Yeah, so it's like now it seems like it's actually going to happen, but Kevin Smith has said he's rewriting the movie, so it's less depressing, it's more positive, and it's more meta in the fact that it's like based on his heart attack and his new zest for filmmaking.
I kind of want him to release the screenplay. Like, don't have to film it. Just like.
I've heard rumors that he was gonna like release the original script,
the depressing one.
I don't know.
He does his like stand up show, podcast show. He does it live. He would read the script for Clerks 3 to the audience.
Yeah,
like that was the thing that he did.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's ever going to release it. I don't think
we'll see. Especially if the new one does come out, like he might not want to. Yeah, but it'll be interesting. It would be really interesting to see what the original script was like,
especially since he considers it his best work.
Yeah, well, I mean, his might not be the best judge considering his last couple of movies, but but yeah. So like he's rewriting it. It's supposed to be more positive, and it's based on his heart attack, and sort of like the premise is that the character Randall, played by Jeff Anderson, has a heart attack. Figures out he hasn't done anything with his life, and decides to make Clerks, like the movie. So it's like a circular kind of thing, which sounds fun.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing that he can explore. It's like semi autobiographical
Autobiographical, yeah.
I forgot how to English. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like fun, and we'll see. Like, I'm still like, I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. But with Jeff Anderson kind of being involved, there's like, I think there's a slight more, and we'll see how well Reboot does.
Should do. My only worry about Reboot is that it's a very limited release.
Yeah, it can only do so well considering they're not releasing it anywhere.
Yeah,
outside of the traveling roadshow.
Look, you give us a chance to go and see it, and we'll go see it.
Man, I'll pay. I'll just pay for a streaming service. Like if I can, Louis C.K. how he used to do stand-ups on his website.
Yeah.
If I go onto the Jan Silent Bob website and I give him $20,
we talked about it a few minutes ago with the PAX thing. It's cut out the middleman.
Yeah, that's right.
It. I'll give Kevin a 20. He gives me a copy of the movie.
Well, that's the thing. It's like to make Reboot, like, it's a lower budget film, and Clerks 3 probably the same thing, and that's kind of where he works best, I think.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? If him and Ben Affleck are friends again, just get Ben to finance his movies.
Well, yeah, I mean, cameo in Clerks 3 or, something, so... Yeah.
I want, like, a whole movie about, like, just, like, a Dogma sequel, like, a bona fide Dogma sequel, or even a movie from, like, with Shannon, the arsehole from Fashionable Male.
Yeah.
Like, just like a big...
The only problem with
like a pedophile in jail movie.
Or even he gets out and he wants to try and take revenge on Brody. It's like a thriller.
It's like a Get Out.
Yeah. I think though, doesn't the Dogma have some other sort of difficulties with rights though?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, the Loki is in Reboot. So
as long as they don't call him Loki, they can probably get away with it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's like, hey kids, it's Matt Damon.
Yeah.
we know who he's playing, but we can't say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a thing. But yeah, it's exciting now, especially for us. We've been big fans of his stuff, but it's like,
I remember I was telling you about Strikes Back in like we were in grade 9. I'm like, oh, you have to watch Strikes Back.
Oh no, I think I'd seen it. I think I saw it because it came out in 2001.
Yeah.
I would have seen it around a few years after that.
I remember talking to you about it, and you rented it from Blockbuster, and we were like talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Blockbuster. We old.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Back in my day, we had to go to the store to get the discs.
Yeah, we had to watch.
And then we had to give the discs back.
Oh god. Yeah.
I could do a video store though. I'd love to have a video store.
Those were the days. Not really. It's more convenient now just to stream.
Yeah, but you can't look at the box art.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can't rip them yourself and make your own illicit collection. Anyway.
Yeah. But it's exciting.
It's exciting to be a Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
Because he's got some things in the works now.
Yeah.
He's maybe picking up some of the slack that he, had pre-heart attack.
It's fine, like, because like Yoga Hoses and even Tusk is like, he was just like making dumb movies with his friends, like for the sake of it. Like he was just taking the piss. It's like now he's like, no, I'm actually going to make movies that mean something, that are actually kind of fun. And
one of the things he talked about in his speech at the Hollywood Walk of Fame was his daughter also now that she's like an adult, her influence on him wanting to be a filmmaker is back. Like, it's actually he was saying, her influence is quite large on him actually wanting to make movies again, proper movies, because she wants to be an actress and she loves movies and it's something that they can connect with, and her excitement rubs off on him.
And they're working together on Reboot. Yeah.
Exactly. One thing that made me laugh was when he was talking about how she's involved and how she wants to be an actress, and he's like, don't listen to the critics, but I know something about filmmaking.
Yeah. He says, I actually know a couple of things. Don't listen to them. And one thing Ben Affleck said during this speech that made me laugh was he was talking about when Ben Affleck was pretty much in all the View Askew movies, even if it was just a minor role. And he was like, for a little while there, Kevin was Scorsese, I was De Niro, and Jay Muse was Joe Pesci. Like the loudmouth.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's good.
Yeah. I think there's such a great atmosphere around all the View Askew movies. Is like,
it's mostly quite positive.
Yeah, it's like not only the connected characters and the recurring things, but like just the overall like friend, like there seems like a bunch of friends getting together making a movie, and that's what Reboot seems to be, and that's hopefully what Clerks 3 will be like.
Yeah,
where it's like the original Clerks, it's like just a bunch of friends making a movie, but the movie's also about a bunch of friends making a movie
Yeah.
based on the original
Do you
movie.
think do you think Jan Silent Bob will make a cameo as Jan Silent Bob in the meter clerks?
Oh man.
Oh, like they'll play themselves.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I reckon that'd be funny. I'd laugh at that.
That would be good, yeah. But see, the thing is, like, Reboot is also very meta. Like, it's also about, like, his career. So I think, like, the whole heart attack, that he's, like, reflecting on his life and his career. But hopefully that'll lead to actually interesting and good movies as well.
I think now he might be... Hopefully this will do well, Clerks will do well, and then he'll be a bit more bullish about Mallrats.
Yeah.
Because Mallrats is, like, up there with my favourite films.
Yeah.
I know we get a mini Mallrats sequel in Reboot.
Kinda.
Well,
Kind
yeah,
of.
Reboot's like a sequel to all of them, but yeah, it's like not the same
It's
as...
not the same as the full...
But yeah, I mean, well, I was going to say it's probably not going to happen, but if Clerks 3 is happening, then surely Mallrats 2 could happen. But Mallrats 2 has always been the one, even more so than Clerks 3, that where it's like, every time you think it's going to happen, just gets cancelled. Like,
and that's the one we want the most.
It got further and further away.
I suppose maybe it's because it's the riskiest. Because
Maybe.
Mallrats bombed.
No, but it's
Yeah.
a cult
But
classic.
it's-
though.
all his films kind of now, like, you know,
They
looking
make
back,
their money.
they're all...
They make their money back on DVD sales.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, but we always, like, we've talked about him on the show before, and we're always, like, kind of confused as to why, you know, streaming services haven't gone to him and said, because he's perfect
He's low
for
budget.
that. Yeah.
He's indie auteur
So,
filmmaking.
I don't know. Either we're wrong or, you know, they're wrong. I don't know. It's
I don't
no,
know.
it was
It's
Yeah.
the children who are wrong.
Yeah, it's the children who are wrong. So I don't know who.
I
Yeah,
don't
we'll
know,
see what
man.
happens. But it's
Yeah.
exciting anyway.
It's an exciting time to be a View Universe fan, definitely.
Also, one more thing to mention. It's not even worth talking about, but we just thought we'll mention it. Twin Peaks
Rumors.
there's been some tweets and vague hints.
I don't know what to think about this, because when the rumors first started happening, I was like, nah.
Yeah.
And then they kept happening, and there's
Everyone-
kept
yeah.
being some evidence, and like we'll say evidence.
Yeah.
They kept being smoke, but there's no smoke without fire, and then it sort of went away.
Yeah, that's why, like, because, you know, after The Return finished and we were just kind of like, what the hell's going on? Is there going to be more? Probably not. What the hell? And then I think Lynch and Cole McLaughlin said, you know, we would be up for doing more if people want. And it's kind of like, well, what does that mean? You know, and it's just kind of like, it probably just was never going to happen. And then the couple of who tweeted first, Lynch or
Well,
McLaughlin?
Lynch started it off with a cryptic tweet. Well, not really cryptic. He thanked everyone in the location that they filmed Twin Peaks at, the actual town.
Okay.
And he's saying it's such a lovely place to shoot, blah, 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 blah. And everyone was like, wait, why are you thanking people now? Have
Yeah.
you just been there?
Yeah.
And it turns out that his editor and location manager, or whoever she is, had just been in that location. And nobody knows why.
Yeah.
It could just be for an unrelated reason or some luck. So then there's a new DVD box set coming out, Blu-ray box set. Could just be maybe some extra footage
Yeah.
from that, or could be anything.
Yeah.
But like, but there's sort of the interesting things to think about with these rumors are that when they did The Return, all the actors had a 10-year non-disclosure agreement. So even if they knew something, they can't say it.
Well, the band The Chromatics, who influenced David Lynch, and they were in The Return.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've been posting Twin Peaks references lately. This was
Everyone-
15 hours.
Well,
ago.
yeah.
So did Michael Horse and the actor that plays Andy and Cole McLaughlin.
Cole McLaughlin was tweeting stuff, yeah.
And Mark Frost is aware of the rumors.
Yeah. So-
and that's the other thing. Nobody has denied anything.
Yeah, like most likely it's nothing, but it's interesting that like a lot of people were getting on board the whole like rumor mill, and they're probably doing it on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
you know, one person does, like Domino's, like one
Yeah.
person does it, and it's like, well, I have to do it, get on the joke.
But
Or
the only sort of thing stopping me from being like, obviously it's nothing, is the fact that literally no one involved in Twin Peaks has actually come out and said that there's nothing
Yeah.
there. Everyone's just said nothing, or they've been jerks about it and just posted teasers to get us riled up.
Let's just lay out some facts. Right. So season 3 came out, The Return, and it was done by Showtime.
Yeah.
And they said that they would be happy to do another season. Showtime would be happy to do more.
Yeah.
If it was successful.
Yeah.
It was wildly successful on streaming platforms. I don't think it was that successful on cable, like actually watching it live.
Yeah, but that's just the nature of the way people watch now, yeah.
But the demand for streaming was intense.
Yeah.
And David Lynch and Kyle MacLachlan both said that if it was popular, they'd do more.
Yeah.
It was popular.
Yeah.
They haven't denied doing more.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance we'll get a season 4 if people don't backtrack on earlier promises made. Because Showtime wants it. They want it bad.
You reckon?
Yeah, because keep in mind they wanted him to do fewer episodes, but they haggled and he ended up getting his way.
Yeah.
But it was wildly popular. People, do you remember when we used to do the odd show and we were just like talking about it every week?
Yeah.
I'm like, that was everyone. It was, as we said, it's like that kind of one event everyone gets together to watch the new episode.
Yeah. Theorize and...
Yeah, exactly.
We had our donuts ready.
Yeah. So I think there's a highly good chance.
Yeah.
If that's not even proper English, but you know.
Yeah.
That there will be another season. It's just a matter of when the stars align. Hopefully we won't have to wait 25 years or whatever.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm sure, you know, we might have talked about it before, especially on the old show, but it's like, do we even want more?
Yes.
It's like, yes, but also...
No,
but it's, I don't know.
Yes, we do.
We'll see.
as long as it's authentically David Lynch and Mark Frost, I want more. Because at least that way we can say their vision. And when I say their vision, it's like, what, 80% Lynch, 20% Frost at this point?
Yeah, probably even more Lynch.
But at least once they're done completely, they're done and they can release the box set Frost.
Well, but I question, after the return finished and it had that weird cliffhanger, and I was like, I questioned whether Lynch like wants it to end just from a like artistic perspective of like, he doesn't want to give any finality or regular beginning, middle, end to this. He wants it to be a esoteric
like a
kind of like a weird kind of like, it's just always there, it's never going to end kind of thing. So that's why I think he ended it the way he did, because he's like, I'm not going to give you a satisfying ending. He's like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do because I'm Lynch, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there was a season 4, it would just be another weird kind of thing that wouldn't have an ending, which on one hand is not a bad thing. But on the other hand, it's like, we want some of that more Mark Frost influence to get a more coherent story and ending to some of the... But, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
We'll keep people updated.
It's probably nothing. The rumours kind of went away pretty quickly and everything's quiet now.
Even if like all these rumours are just like a completely remastered 4K everything in one box.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm like, I got them on Blu-ray. It's like, well, now I have to upgrade to 4K.
I mean, 6 days ago, the sort of starter of all these rumors, the Hollywood Horror Museum on Twitter posted, "It's not easy keeping secrets. It's a tightrope. Keeping followers interested, posting cool things but not saying too much, and risk losing studio, producer and actor support in our company. We are a non-profit 501c3 foundation which is developing a real museum, so we have to watch ourselves." So their stance is that they know that stuff is going to come out. They know things are happening, but they actually can't say anything because they don't want to lose their standing in the community. So, look, you know what? We'll just keep an eye on it and we'll let people know if we hear anything.
Yeah.
The rumors are winding down, but that's not to say that there's no smoke without fire.
True, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely talk about it. If anything comes of it.
Oh, either way, if it's fully denied, we'll talk about it. If it's not denied, we'll continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
I reckon that's it.
That's it.
Alrighty.
Thank you for listening. Like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tuesday Review AU. You can follow James on Instagram at Channel Drifter, where he talks about all the movies he doesn't get to talk about on the show. You can find our previous episodes on your favorite podcasting app. If you like video games, check out Callum and Jake's show Sunrise Arcade, where Nathan is a frequent co-host. Make sure to check out Matty J's podcast Car Talk, TURQUE, for all your automotive discussion. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Tuesday Review on iTunes. Adios, cousins.